Hello everyone, this is Shantan from Express Computer, and today we are here at the sixth edition of the Data Center Infrastructure Summit in the data center capital of India, that is Bombay, which is holding about 41% of the total data center capacity of the entire country. So today, to know more about like how the data center industry is evolving over the years, how the market is getting broader and broader. Today we have Mr. Alok Bajpai of the MD of NTT Data Center. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you, Shantanu, for having me here. Thanks.
Thank you so much for your time over here today. I have very few questions for you. So, what's the vision for building a data center economy in India?
Obviously, data center and AI is the future of the digital economy for India, and what we are trying to achieve in India, just like we are trying to achieve in other parts of the world, is that we want to become one of the most sustainable and secure data center backbone for the industry. We have to provide capacities to the needs of the AI and ML that is coming, and it has to be a sustainable backbone to this industry.
Since you talked about sustainability, I think there are a lot of innovations coming up in this particular spectrum as well. And like, do you want to talk about any of the innovations? For example, I think water cooling was one of those, like oil cooling is one of those, and definitely green data centers is one of those as well. Do you want to talk about any of the innovations in this particular spectrum?
Yeah, so interestingly, sustainability has become one of the core values for us. It used to be earlier safety and security. Now, I think sustainability has become one part of it. Now, as this industry grows, obviously the old technology of cooling the heat that is generated is not going to be enough, because we are talking about workloads which are 10 times or 20 times per rack now. So obviously, as you rightly said, liquid cooling is one of the technologies that we are working on. In India, we were the first, actually, more than 2.5 years ago, that we started the liquid immersion cooling technology, which where we have the synthetic oils and the servers are inside it. Now we have DCLC, which is the new technology that's coming in. Again, globally, I think we are one of the largest. In America, we have 200 megawatt of DCLC cooled AI ready data centers. So this is one of the very important factors, that the innovation on the cooling should continue, and we spend a lot of money on R&D on that. Second, is rightly said, is the green energy. Now we have a net zero goal for 2030, because most of the clients, most of the countries have that kind of a goal, and NTT has that goal. And for that, the green energy generation is important. We have in India, for example, 60% of our energy consumption that is coming through green energy. And that is again through a lot of PPAs that we have signed with other companies, together with whom we invest, and then we create the solar and the wind energy.
But I think also the data center cost is also a factor, because like cooling cost is also a factor, because I guess if you talk about the Nordic countries, which are already in a beneficial position in terms of the geographical location, I think India is in a disadvantageous position in terms of that as a case, right?
Not necessarily, because obviously India has a lot of advantages also. Just like in IT services, we have the cost arbitrage on the manpower cost. We have a cost arbitrage on the real estate cost, for example, even the power cost. So what are the two most important raw materials for data center? It is either the real estate or it's the power. Yeah, power is the biggest, obviously, and India real estate and power is so much cheaper than the Nordic countries or Europe or Japan or even America. So the cost advantage is still there, and accordingly we are obviously pricing it to the customer. So cost economies are well taken care of in India. That's not an issue.
Perfect. One last question for you. So, what is need to be done to make India the global hub for the data centers? Like any policy or skills or investment? What do you think about?
Yeah, so it's a combination of what we need from the private sector and from the government, and obviously from the educational institutions, because we need all the three, and the financial institutions for the funding part, because it's a highly capital intensive industry. For example, there are right now funds that are available from international institutions which are sustainability goal linked. So, and those are priced at a much lower rates as an incentive. So those are the things that you can do. Government, of course, can do a lot by incentivizing green energy, for example. So this is what we need from the government, is a central policy on power, which is not state-wise, which is the case right now. It should be a national policy. Yeah, and similarly, I think AI literacy and data center literacy is going to be important. And it is not because it's a human resource intensive industry, but it is because there's a lot of innovation required. And unless you have the right kind of literacy and knowledge around this, the industry growth obviously will get stunted. Yeah.
So, any particular innovation you want to talk about that entity is working on as of now?
That can be a secret, but but at the same time, as I said, right now the focus is mostly on sustainability. So how do we get energy which is cheaper? how do we have the cooling which is more climate controlled effective. So these are the technologies that we are working on. Huge R&D expenses we are spending on these. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was Mr. Alok Bajpai from NTT Data Center. Thank you.